Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. Well, it is the day when Steve Bannon was supposed to show up to testify to the January 6th committee in Congress. But of course, he did not. He does not need to listen to subpoenas. And I think also Patel did not. I wanted to look at do these people get arrested? Because so Adam Schiff was on one of the shows saying that if they didn't show up, they would be referred for criminal charges, specifically contempt of court, contempt charges, contempt of Congress. And the DOJ, Merrick Garland, would have to decide if they would prosecute or not. So let's see. I want to look at Steve Bannon in particular first, because this guy has been slippery as an eel and responsible for so much of the trouble we've had. And whoever pays him. Okay, so let's see. What about Steve Bannon? Does he get in serious trouble over this? How does this go? We have the Queen of Coins. I just thought of her too. Okay, so remember how I've always been saying, as I said, whoever's funding him, how I've always been saying there is a female donor, far right, loves Trump, who has been donating to Steve Bannon and this group that is trying to remake American and maybe global politics into something that looks far right, autocratic. But I don't think she would call it that. I finally figured out who it was with the help of a patron. I hadn't realized. It's the Publix heiress. What the heck is her name? I didn't look it up before I started. Sorry, guys. But anyway, it's the Publix heiress. She and Publix has come out and said, well, she's not an employee of ours and so on and so forth. But apparently she's given millions. So I finally, thank you to my patron who told me about this. I finally figured out who she is. So this is an issue because she can fund, and those who also donate to this group, these foundations, can fund a lot of lawyers. Challenge is Ace of Coins. Right, money. Yeah, he gets money. Underneath it all, Six of Cups. Look to the past, that'll tell you. Okay, so in other words, yeah, I think there will be protracted court battles. I don't expect Steve Bannon going to jail soon. Maybe Merrick Garland would issue a warning to him. But I don't see a warrant out for his arrest right away, If at some point it's all going to catch up with him, but not soon. Two of Wands in the past. This also is connected to overseas. It's connected to overseas. There are connections Steve Bannon has with other people, other world leaders, because he has been going around and advocating for basically the destruction of central governments, but really not the destruction of the departments that serve the people in central governments, right? Not the destruction of the autocrat, the centralized leadership. No, that's going to be an autocrat. He's really talks out of both sides of his mouth with this one. But there's been government, this is international efforts to do this. He's been funded. There are powerful people he's connected with, and in other governments. So that's an issue. Above it all, we have the Ten of Swords. Well, a lot of media, a lot of swords flung at him. Boy, a lot of pressure. Nasty letters, warnings. Okay. In the immediate future, Seven of Cups, an illusion, a false narrative is pushed and created regarding this issue in particular to work up Americans who support Trump. Work them up. Work up the voters. So that has a sway. It's very complicated. I do not see Merrick Garland right away like issuing an arrest warrant. I don't. Asking, having him indicted. I don't see it. We have Biden at the root of the matter too. So Biden's definitely going to talk about this. And pretty forcefully. Home environment, Page of Swords. You can't go by everything you hear on the news. It's like there's this shooting off the mouth here and there and the other place. I do see a process. I'm sorry, with that Eight of Cups, I see a process. And I do see him warned. Hopes and fears. We have the High Priestess. It's very mysterious. Two of Cups, and the outcome, an agreement is made. Okay, so I think there's a negotiating back and forth. I wonder if he wouldn't testify at some point in such a way, like, okay, but I won't talk about this, I'll talk about this, but I won't talk about that kind of thing. And it may be private. Ace of Cups. There's a lot of dirt there. And Hermit. So I think that a lot of this will be private, the testimony. I think he will eventually talk to Congress. I don't know if it'll be the January 6th commission as it is, though. It may be through an attorney. It's interesting. He does have to agree to give some information eventually to stay out of jail. But I feel like he threatens to prolong this and drag it out forever and all that kind of thing. I feel like he even may argue that because, remember, Trump pardoned him for something. He may argue that covers this too. So there's something like that too. So Bannon continues to be sneaky and evasive. You know, I just feel like you can try to outrun the law. You can try to outrun justice. You can try to make yourself believe that you're the most powerful person and none of the rules apply to you. But the rules apply to everyone. And even if you can evade and you can skirt and you can go around, heck, the rules of the cosmic rules of justice will come into force, you know, for Bannon. Absolutely. And he plays with some dangerous people. Interesting. I feel like he fears he might disappear someday. Just like disappear. Be disappeared. He lives with that. So, I don't know about his future. But I don't see him being thrown in jail soon over contempt of Congress. Okay. Well, let's see about, gosh, the others. You know what? You know who I did see? I believe that Clark, who was, I think, Trump wanted to make him the defense secretary so he could call in the troops, martial law, and all that stuff. And it didn't happen because everybody would have resigned in mass or something. Clark, though, when I saw him talking in front of the podium, I thought that man's going to go to jail. So he is not subpoenaed yet, but I guess will be. I don't even know if that's the issue, though, that brings him there. Clark. But he did a lot of things downright illegal. So, because some things he said, Tower. And it'll be a process. But the investigation is not good for him. He is a rat. And what do we got? King of Coins. But then we have the King of Coins and Hope. So, I don't know. He can afford the good lawyers too. So, yeah, I don't know, but I think he goes to jail for something, though. I mean, he gets in some trouble, but it just looks to me like it's not enough to, it's not like he's away for years or anything like that. So, the others, Meadows. Pull a few cards for Meadows. He's talking to his attorney. Do I have to? He's sitting pretty in a way. Two of Wands. There again. Looking out across the sea. There's something he's had dealings with. This is where they're going to get in some trouble. Dealings with foreign interests again. Interesting. But I don't know jail. I don't know jail for Meadows. Patel. Well, there's a lot of mysteries there. He's too much low man on the totem pole. I shouldn't say that phrase. I remember that's wrong, because even in Native American, the low figure on the totem pole is actually the most powerful. So anyway, forget that. He's on the lower rungs of the ladder. Let's say that. He's on the lower rungs of the ladder. Oh, he could have some troubles. Ace of Swords is an opportunity for him to change the direction of his life. Ace of Swords. Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords. Three of Cups. There's something that is really important for Patel here. I don't know if I don't think that means jail. I don't think the Eight of Swords means jail. I just don't feel it. But there's troubles that he can't get out of. There are things he said. This will be really bad for his career. This is an opportunity to do no more harm. Okay. And Scavino stands his ground. So I'm not sure about him either. But bedeviled by this process. I'm sorry, guys. This stuff goes on and on. This stuff goes on and on. But the investigation is extremely important. The congressional committee is very important. What they're learning is really important. Yeah. I just see in the coming years, like, nobody's going to be wanting to be associated with what went down on January 6th. I mean, it becomes so shameful for the people who were supporting that in our government that, they're kryptonite. Yeah, I see that in a few years, several years, even more so. Their name is Mud. Yeah, there's a lot of debate about it. They will never be allowed to forget. But Magician, they might get out of jail. In any case, like I said, there's cosmic justice as well. And to work so hard to establish yourself in a position and enhance your own power, your own prestige, and then become kryptonite in Washington, a pariah. Well, that's not so hot. The main thing is that this kind of thing be prevented from ever happening again. That's the main thing. See, we just have too much money wanting something really awful to happen and in bed with, and we have undermining of this country, that this democracy and our government infiltrating of it for a long time now. That's an issue. That's going to have to be beaten back. Three of Swords, we're going to keep having some trouble with that. And guys, it's not always about Russia, right? But there has been a plan. I mean, this is a long time plan. Asymmetrical warfare, right? Cold warfare. But to undermine our democracy. And there have been too many Americans who are working with that cause, along with Bannon. And people from other countries, wealthy people from other countries have been roped into this network. They are not successful. I feel like their power decreases overseas. It decreases and it decreases and it decreases to the point where they just don't have that influence that they had. 3 of Wands. So this is something we have to keep putting effort in, though. That 3 of Wands, that's 3 Wands. We have to keep putting effort in to see that. Interesting. All right. Well, I start with a specific question. I end up with some very general kinds of answers. Not uncommon when I'm hearing from Spirit. But I thank you all for going on the journey with me. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.